Hey, welcome back to White Mountains Livestock YouTube channel. I've been thinking about this. I wrote a blog post on this about a week or so ago, and I just wanted to kind of touch base on it here with you. There's a lot of people wondering, should I raise a pig? Should I raise a pig for my family that we can raise, we can butcher, and, this and that? And the short answer is it depends. Now, I know everybody hates hearing it depends, but it really does. For instance, there's a lot of things you need to consider. Pigs are strong animals, and you need some pretty good fence to keep them contained. They're going to root. Feed costs, vet costs if there's an issue, processing costs unless you're going to do it yourself. We usually when we do a hog, when it's time for a butcher, we do it ourselves. A lot of people don't. They want to take it to a processor so they can get their hams cured and smoked, or they can get their bacon cured and smoked and sliced and packaged up real nice for them, or their pork chops cured. And yeah, we don't care about all the cured and stuff, just the bacon. That's a big one because everybody likes bacon. But there's a lot of things you really want to consider before you decide, to raise a hog for yourself. One of those things is, like I said, the fencing. Hogs are extremely strong animals. Ours are right around 300 pounds, except for our runt. She's probably around 250 or so. Our meat hog, he's actually over on the other side, kind of poking around, looking at the fence. He's right about 300 pounds. Sorry, don't mind the trickling. We're actually got water coming out to him. But so that's one thing, is the cost of the fence. Two, and this is probably one of the biggest ones, honestly. Is it legal to raise a hog where you live? A lot of cities have laws flat out you cannot raise a pig or a hog in city limits for obvious reasons. Now, that's something you'd want to check out. Three is, can you deal with the smell? Let's face it, pigs just flat out stink to high heaven if you don't keep up with it. Okay, I'm out here. We got 3 out here right now. I'm out here every day cleaning this pen, shoveling all the droppings out, cleaning it, dumping some fresh dirt in with the tractor, for the wet spots, and they just stink, let's face it. Now, pigs are clean animals. Typically they do all their business in one spot. They've got a good sized little area here for the 3 of them to run in. They got a juniper tree sitting in there that they like to play with and root around, and they probably by spring, they'll have that tree probably out of the ground, right? They're going. But they stink. And if you can't keep up with that, you're not prepared for that, it can cause a lot of issues. Especially if your neighbors are too close and they catch a whiff, if they're downwind, they may not be too happy about that. Another thing is processing costs. I did a breakdown in our blog, whitemountains.livestock.com, on should you raise a pig. And not at a breakdown of the numbers, is to feed costs with processing costs and how much it actually costs you per pound for your pork if you go fresh and raise your own. And in a lot of cases, if you're not buying feed in bulk, and I mean bulk as in a ton, 2 tons, 6 tons, 8 tons, whatever at a time, okay, you can end up paying almost $5 or more a pound for your pork. So in some situations, it's just cheaper to buy it. Now if you want to, keep that hormone-free and antibiotic-free pork and stuff for your family, that's kind of what I do. We make it available to people in Arizona. Unfortunately, we can't sell nationwide due to licensing restrictions and things like that, but we can take care of you in Arizona. So, that's something you really have to consider. Another one is pigs can be aggressive. Okay, they can actually be pretty aggressive. So you got to be able to handle that. If you get them when they're young and you handle them all the time, and you're going to cut back on a lot of that. That's just the way it is. They're going to be used to you handling them. They're going to know you're okay. But they can be very aggressive. They can bite and it can hurt. I mean, there's a lot of these things, that you really need to dig in and really need to think about before you commit to raising a hog. Or I mean, let's face it, before you take on any animal, there's a level of commitment that has to be there, to be able to take care of that animal properly and provide for it. Because, once it's domesticated and it's penned up, it can't fend for itself. You have to take care of that. You have to keep its pen clean. You have to keep the litter box cleaned if it's a cat even. You have to feed them. These are the things that you have to do because they cannot do it for themselves once they're penned up. In a lot of cases, your domestic animals, if you just turn them loose to run, they're still not going to be able to fend for themselves because they're not, depending on where you live, they may not be getting the nutrients that they need to be healthy. We use diatomaceous earth. Food grade diatomaceous earth is what we use to actually help keep their intestinal tract and digestive tract and all that stuff flowing properly. Works great. For about every 350 pounds of feed that we mix up, because we mix it ourselves. About every 350 pounds worth of feed, we put in 6 pounds of diatomaceous earth when we mix it in. It keeps their systems flowing, keeps them healthy, keeps everything working in the right order. And, our pigs are extremely healthy. They're happy. We let them do what it is that they do. But, these are some things that you really want to dig into and you really want to check out before, you make that commitment to go in. You go out and you buy your fencing and, what kind of fencing should I use even? I mean, if you're using just a wood slat fence, well, they're going to break through it, I mean, typical butcher weight is about 285 pounds. Ours, he's up a little over 300 at this point. Can you put up a fence strong enough? They play extremely rough. Oh, my goodness. These guys, I'll come out here to feed, and they'll be out here playing, and you'd think they were fighting. They're not. They could do some serious damage if they wanted to, but they're playing. And I mean, they're knocking each other around. And even when I go in the pen with them, whether I'm cleaning, whether I'm just going in to scratch them behind the ear or scratch their bellies or something like that, keep that interaction with them. They'll come up and they'll rub on you. And I mean, I'm 200 pounds, almost 6 foot tall, and they'll about knock me over. If they want to, they will. So, kids, you don't want to let little kids in the pen with your hogs. Okay, that's a recipe for disaster. And it may not be that they're intentionally doing it. They may just be trying to play, and they can seriously hurt or kill somebody. So that's something you got to pay attention to. Do you have other animals? If you do, hey, you know what? That's fine. We've got a ton of animals out here on the ranch. I mean, we got like 11 dogs, 10 horses, 3 donkeys, a freaking 300-pound goat running around over there at the horse pasture, the hogs, a few cats, ducks, chickens. We got animals like it's going out of style out here, but you don't want other animals getting in the pen with your hogs. We actually, and I'll tell you a quick story on this one. Like I said, we got chickens, and before we moved up here to the ranch, last year we had about 40 chickens. Yeah, I mean, we were only on about just under an acre or so at the time, and we had about 40 chickens out there, and we let them just free range, just let them run. Well, the problem is we noticed all our hens were disappearing. And we thought it was the coyotes because, coyotes are always a big problem here in Arizona. Mountain lions, we got all that good stuff. Well, our farrier was out shoeing one of the horses one night. And I'm sitting outside having a beer, while he's working and just sitting, waiting, And all of a sudden, I hear the pigs go nuts. I hear a chicken start freaking squawking like crazy, run over there. That hen jumped into the pig pen, and as soon as that thing hit the ground, them hogs was all over that thing. They ate it. That's where we figured out what happened to all of our chickens. At this point, we had like 40 hens or 32 hens or so, and at this point, we were down to like 6, and we couldn't figure out. We thought it was the coyotes. I put the trail camera out, and we caught a number of coyotes out there running around. Good-looking dogs, some coy wolves, but We didn't even think about the hogs. Well, they'll do it. You know, if you get a little dog, you know, they'll do what they do. So those are all things you really want to think about. You know, there's more, you know, there's a ton more things you want to think about. And I cover those in our blog post on whitemountainslivestock.com. You know, check it out, read up before you make a decision. There's a lot of good articles on there right now about hogs. You know, and it's always growing. I'm always writing new content for that thing to give you guys some more information about things I've learned, you know, for my 30 plus years with you know, livestock of various kinds, and you know, different animals and things like that you know, I had growing up on the, you know, on the ranch I had growing up, and what we have now, and stuff that my wife grew up with on the ranch she grew up on, and you know, all that. So I mean, there's always new information. You know, we got a series on canker and horses coming up here soon. You know, it's one of those horrible diseases. There's no cure. Shoot, they don't even know what's causing it. Okay, it's just one of those things that it's there. There's not much information. There's a lot of theory, but that's about it. You know, I'm doing a big series on that coming up. You know, so check it out. You know, read this information. Decide if it's something that's good for your families. You know, if it is, great. You know, jump in, have fun with it. You know, hogs are great animals. You know, they're entertaining. They're a lot of fun. Great personalities. You know, for them. I mean, there's always the ones that don't, but you know, great personalities, intelligent. You know, remember, don't eat a potbelly pig. Seriously, okay? I've never tried it, but I've heard them things are pretty nasty. But you know, check it out, read up on it, you know, do some research and see if it's something that might be for you. If it is, great. If it's not, hey, you know what, that's all right. You know, there might be something else out there. There might be horses, donkeys, you know, cattle. I mean, God knows what else. There's a ton of things out there if you really want to do animals and get your hogs into that. You know, 4-H is great. We're big supporters of 4-H out here. You know, get these kids, get these animals as babies, and then they're responsible for raising them. And, you know, it teaches them that responsibility. And, you know, at the end, they go to auction. And it's a great thing. You know, it teaches these kids responsibility. It teaches them how to make an honest living through hard work and dedication, which is something that, you know, I'm a firm believer in. Nothing in this world is free, as most of us know. You know, most of us, we all wish we were kids again, where everything seemed free. Unfortunately, now we're where our parents were, and trying to tell our kids all the time that money don't grow on trees. But, you know, check that stuff out, whitemountainslivestock.com. Hit that subscribe button. Let me know if there's anything else you want to know about in the comments below. Don't forget that little bell right there next to the subscribe button. Go ahead and hit on that thing. And that way you get notified every time we post a new video. All right? Don't forget, y'all have a great day, and thanks for watching.